Welcome to Theezy Under Grace, bringing faith, hope, and the love of Christ to everyone. I'm your host, Teresa, otherwise known as Theezy. If this is your very first time listening to this podcast, I would love to welcome you. So welcome. Please take a moment to listen to the other previous 15 episodes just to learn a little more about me and this podcast, and also check out some episodes titled Trusting the Process, Under Pressure, Church Hurt, or Get Out of Your Own Way, just to name a few. The Theezy Under Grace podcast is available on 13 platforms. It's available on Apple Podcast or iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, Stitcher, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Overcast, and YouTube. Just download any of these apps or head to their respective websites, listen, subscribe, and share. Please make sure you are also following the Theezy Under Grace podcast Instagram page, which is at Theezy Under Grace, just to stay current with podcast updates and alerts. You can also connect with me on my other social media pages and accounts. Just head to my website, theezysvoyage.com, and you'll find all of the links there. Also, please don't forget that all episodes are also available via blog post as well, so you can still read the blog post that I'm also broadcasting as a podcast episode. Again, that will also be at my website, theezysvoyage.com. That's THEE, Z as in zebra, YS, V as in Victor, OYAGE.com. Well, I would like to introduce you to a new podcast segment, or should I say mini episodes, called Moment of Grace. So Moment of Grace was created from an idea that I had of creating mini episodes to bring you short reflections to think about throughout the week and in between the longer episodes, which will also allow me to frequently publish content to the Theezy Under Grace podcast, as well as just bringing you some additional things just to keep you encouraged and uplifted. So I'm very excited to bring you more content to help keep you encouraged and uplifted. And I'd also like to thank my friend, Mr. Prince, for the idea title, Moment of Grace, because I've gone back and forth over a few titles, but this one nailed exactly what I was aiming for. So thank you, Mr. Prince. Well, this week's Moment of Grace, we're actually going to jump into our first one. So this week's Moment of Grace is all about being the light and ways to be the light in dark circumstances and situations. So let's jump in. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. For one, it's free. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Again, that's Anchor, ANCHOR.FM to get started. You are the light of the world, like a city on a hilltop that cannot be hidden. That comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, and that's the New Living Translation. Be the light. Jesus is the light of the world. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. That's Genesis 1 and 3. There's over 50 scripture references to light in the Bible, and you may or may not have heard someone talk about how we must be the light. But what is all this talk about being the light, and what exactly does it mean? Well, being the light doesn't mean that you're better than anyone. It calls for us to live contrary of how society says we should act or live. Being the light will place you in situations where you have to choose between going along with your friends and family or basically doing something the complete opposite. Being the light is choosing to be what Christ called us to all be in everyday life, tough situations, crisis, and in all things. Being the light is standing out. not conforming to what or how society says we should act or speak, or even our thoughts and our ways. Being the light is being the glimmer of hope, peace, faith, or giving someone a sense of belonging in a world full of the opposite. Being the light is choosing to exude the kindness and love of Christ to everyone, even in those times where we want to return the hurt or anger someone has caused upon us. Being the light is loving someone through their hardships and pain. Being the light is choosing to forgive instead of holding a grudge. Being the light is choosing to live for Christ instead of conforming to the world. Being the light is knowing you're imperfect, but you serve a perfect God. Being the light is being accountable instead of placing blame. Being the light is choosing peace and joy over heartbreak and sadness. Being the light is choosing to be thankful for being unharmed instead of angry because traffic made you late. You never know how a hello, a simple smile, or asking someone how their day is going can change a person's mood or even their outlook on life. Being the light is choosing to be positive and optimistic even when the outlook looks grim. Being the light doesn't place you in charge of changing the world, but in alignment with God while He changes the world. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness because you will have the light that leads to life." That's from the book of John, chapter 8, verse 12, and that's the New Living Translation. So what should we do, guys? Be the light. Well, my friends, I pray you enjoyed this first moment of grace from the Theezy Under Grace podcast, and I also pray that you're looking forward to many more to come. As I always suggest, just talk to God. He's listening. You don't need a long, elaborate prayer. Just talk to Him. He will provide everything you need to get through every and anything in life. You got this. We got this. We're in this together. Let's stay connected. Head over to theezysvoyage.com and you'll see all of the ways you can contact me, as well as my social media links. Also, if you don't have a church service to attend or stream, I'd love to invite you to join me and live stream Uplift Christian Ministries on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also New Vision Church with Pastors James and Kim McLean. They start their live stream around 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, that's New Vision Church. That's NUVISION Church. And also Uplift Christian Ministries. Again, those are both on Sundays. You can head to Facebook to type in both of those church names and like their pages, and you'll start to get those notifications for when they go live. Also, if you don't have Facebook or you prefer not to be on Facebook to stream those services, you can definitely go to YouTube and type in both church names. There you can find their pages. You can also subscribe, and you can also view the other previously live stream services as well. And I definitely hope that you will be blessed. I actually know you will, because I'm blessed each time. So don't forget to also share these pages with your family and friends, coworkers, or whoever that you may find this to be a blessing to. Please share it. Don't have anyone else to miss out as well. Also, make sure you share the blog and podcast pages on Instagram and also the YouTube channel, the Theezy Under Grace Podcast YouTube channel. So I would definitely, again, love to have you guys to join me with those live streams. And I want to thank you so much for listening and being patient with me again throughout all of the many things with this podcast and also the blog as it evolves. So thank you for joining me for this moment of grace. Thank you for listening. Make sure you share this as well with your family, friends, and coworkers. So until the next time, my friends, many blessings and peace to you all.